So, this is my first video on my YouTube channel, The Pessimist Perspective, and I think this is a really good starting point because I really don't know of anybody else that's really talking about this right now, and as deep as the light of what I'm going to get into. But I feel like I'm behind at 23. Um, Real reason just being that everywhere you look on Instagram, there just seems to be people younger than me and they are driving Lambos, Ferraris, they're owning mansions, they're buy my program, bro, buy my my course. And if it's not that, then they're with OnlyFans girls making money. And to be honest, I think one of the most underappreciated songs ever was Money for Nothing by Dire Straits because it has more meaning now than it did back when it was wrote initially back in the 80s. And the reason being is because some of these people never had to work a day in their life. It's really unfortunate that a lot of my generation, right? I'm struggling to find a decent job right now. It's going to pay me enough to get a house, and I'm definitely struggling to find a girl that's going to want a family in the future and want kids. I'm getting desperate. It's getting to the point where, I'm fucking going to join the Air Force or go to the military just to get a skill set. I tried college and I saw no reason to continue because of AI. AI is going to outprice my worth and labor in the next 5 to 10 years, and there's going to be no entry level positions out there. But back to my point, you got these kids out here, and by the way, they're all industry plants. Don't get it twisted. They are absolutely all industry plants. Some way, somehow, they're probably going to college for golf, or they're going to college, for sports, or daddy owns a construction company or a law firm, or for fuck's sakes, mommy was a magazine model or a hand or foot model, something like that. And they're out here on Instagram essentially being funded by their parents to scam poor men like me that are just trying to get ahead in life. They go rent a Lambo, a McLaren, a Ferrari, and they go parade around essentially downtown Miami or New York, and they're like, look at these losers in line to go to the nightclub. I'm too busy on the grind. I'm too busy building my business, building my portfolio up. And meanwhile, all they're getting is funding from their parents, saying that they day traded. And in all reality, it's like nobody is really building that infrastructure by themselves. They have a network of people doing it, and heaven forbid you try and get in their inner circle, right? I'm 23 right now. I've unfortunately had the experience of dating 3 millionaires in my life. Don't ask me how. That's just by happen fate. But the first one, right? They just spent all their money away because it was inherited millions. It wasn't real built millions. The second one used religion in order to actually justify their means of shitty behavior. And the third one basically wouldn't let me in the inner circle because I, being 23, dingy warehouse worker, this rabble down here doesn't deserve to be with us. It wouldn't let me in their circle and let me date their daughter. Keep in mind, this was a 26-year-old that immigrated from Thailand. She has no reason, no reason that she can't choose who she wants to date. And it was her mom holding her back. Well, I'm going to take your Bronco. I'm going to take your ability to have anything, your bags that are thousands of dollars. They don't want you in your circle, and they don't want you to succeed. And that's what you guys have to understand. These people out here that are wanting to, sell courses, they're wanting to absolutely just take your money and run with it. They're going to run pull any operation that they have. I mean, it's just as essentially as honest as a fitness coach that does steroids, without telling you. Oh, if you just train hard enough, you'll eventually look like me, have a six pack, have a defined jawline, facial features. You can work to it, But 9 out of 10 times they're taking like Rita Retrutide or whatever the hell it's called, or Tren, and they're just not telling you about it because they're not in the top 1% genetic community. It's just one of those things, man. I'm getting desperate though because these jobs are not paying at all. What they're doing is they're just taking our labor and paying us the pennies on the dollar until they run out of pennies because the Federal Reserve stopped making them. Then they're going to go to damn nickels. But they're taking that and they're essentially taking it all for themselves and not giving us any of the benefits that we should be getting. It's unfortunate that in this time and age, you can't go out and find a decent job anymore without absolutely either A, breaking your back for a warehouse. I did for 3 years, and man, it put me into a mental state that I'm still not well from. Or you go to a production, like a manufacturing facility, and they're just going to pay you like 15 to 19 an hour to sit there and pack boxes full of something rudimentary, and then the machines screw up and they want to yell at you for it, even though they're the ones controlling the machines. And not to mention, the building managers of these places are always out of touch. They're always these, I've spent 30 years with said company and I'm up at this position. They get mad at the most stupid bullshit that I've ever seen. We got a message on our app the other day. I'm just so surprised that you guys are clocking out at 11 because you guys should be sitting there talking with your counterparts about making sure that they're up to date and up to spec on how the machines are running. None of the other shifts do that. So you're getting mad at me for wanting to clock out and go home so I can go to bed to get up and go to the gym and have a life. Because we're not sitting there doing something that none of the other shifts are doing. Bull fucking shit. And it's a really unfortunate prospect of reality that these fucking boomers that do this, they're up there, they're plant managers or building managers or hub managers, they'll do just as shitty shit. I know for a fact that the guy in my fucking manufacturing plant will go home, take his radio home, he'll be clocked in for the shift, he'll just listen from his house. And yet I'm sitting there slaving away for $19 an hour. We've also got a QA guy that, oh my God, he looks like a pretty fucking princess. He sits there and he'll come out, big pearly white smile, got his polo shirt tucked into these beautiful clean jeans. And how we doing today? Oh, it's great. Make sure you're careful out here on the floor. Make sure you're careful. It's like, motherfucker, you sit in an office all day. You can sit there and watch YouTube, just bullshit on emails, and I'm out here fucking hunched over a machine for 8 hours. I've tried working up to it. It's all a good old boys club up in there. And really the only way out anymore to actually make a living for yourself is to just start your own company. Which is why I'm telling y'all, don't follow the course perspective to buy my course and everything will work out. Buy my investment plan, buy into. Maybe the only thing you should buy into is you buy into one, your own risk, right? Invest in yourself. And if you really, really agree with it, set up a Robinhood account and go to Autopilot. I'm no way affiliated with this, but I've been making money with Autopilot. Not very much, but enough, and it's just really stupid that people just fall for this stuff. Like they're like, man, buy my course. Man, if you just really work up to it, you'll get somewhere in the company. No, I stayed at FedEx breaking my back for 3 years on night shifts, only to get denied a manager position after running areas in that building. Really? I got denied by some college-educated douchebag that was in the same position that had no idea what he was doing, never started as a package handler and worked his way up. These places will talk legends to you. Like they'll talk like you could be this, you could be that. No, because our building manager for that facility was going out on hunting trips with the former building manager before he ever became the actual manager of the building. It's all networking, it's all bullshit, and it's all made up. Like there's no reason. There is really no reason to work hard in 2026. You can have a job that works you hard, but there's no reason for yourself to work hard for another company that's not yours, right? You should be able to go out and try and start your own business, whether it's trading, whether it's lawn care, something rudimentary and simple, try it. Because what do you have to lose at this point? You can't afford a house just working 9 to 5 at a fucking shitty warehouse or a factory, you know? There's no such thing as, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and, shine some shoes and get the house anymore. That's not how it works. I've tried to explain that to my parents time and time again, and they still won't understand that because, when your parents come from a background of railroading where you're, making 80K a year, it's really hard for them to understand, like, well, when you're making 19 an hour, you can't do that. You're going to have to save up a ton over time. I've not had a vacation. I've not went with my family on a vacation for 3 years now, 4 years almost. And I try and do RC racing, like remote control cars. I'm about to be outpriced on that. I don't even buy new parts for them. I just don't break them. And still, the traveling expenses at gas being $4.29 a gallon is ridiculous. But you know what? It's unfortunate, man, because you watch so many people get handed the life that you wish you could live a fraction of. These people that you see, they all look the same. They're all the same 6 foot tall, curly blonde headed dudes that have a spray tan that got perfect genetics because either A, they're on steroids, or B, all those families tend to intermingle with each other. I'm pretty sure that Habsburg jaw is a real thing with some of those families. And you see the same girls. It's money for nothing. It absolutely is. Post a picture of your ass. Take a video of you getting fucked, and you make thousands of dollars because dudes will sit there and pay for it. What life is worth living now? Because you can't. Unless you make that quick money. I've known strippers that are like, it's addicting. It's very, very addicting at first. They're getting 50-year-old men to pay for their lives. And it's just unfortunate, man. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand, one, why men are paying for this stuff. Why are simps, one, paying for OnlyFans? And two, why are you paying for a random dude's course that he obviously is fabricated? He's obviously a trust fund baby. Why? Why are you doing it? Be better. Use that time to go to the gym. Use that time to sit there on a Google Doc and come up with ideas and work your damn stupid job that's going to pay you pennies on the dollar and get your shit together. Or go trade school, by the way, is about to be absolutely overrun. About to be the same situation as AI. I'm trying to get into HVAC right now. Can't get a single lead. I have an uncle that works. I should have the role of nepotism into that field. Can't get a single lead back. Railroading, if my own father can't get me into the railroad, once again, I have nepotism into that. If he can't get me into that, that just shows you how fucked up our society is right now. And I think it's heading that way. So you have the tough decision. You either grind the job out until you can get your own company going, whether that be suited in a business that's not overrunning your area. Like everywhere in KC I go, I see HVAC companies everywhere now. Like I started noticing it. Plumbing companies, they're overrun in these huge metropolitan areas. If you're rural, yeah, get into the trades because there's not going to be very many, companies out there. But if you're like in a big metropolitan area, you're going to have to specialize. And it's not going to be easy money, but eventually, hopefully, you can build some assets. I recommend the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't recommend anything after that because Robert Kiyosaki was bought out by Amway pretty much. But Rich Dad Poor Dad was a great book, and it woke me up to a lot of the realities of how the ultra wealthy live in this country. And to be honest, it's kind of a crazy fallacy to me that they just don't let anybody into their inner circle. I even think some of the stuff on like the School of Hard Knocks, like that guy's page, tends to be a little pushed or fabricated. Because you see some of these people some of these, boomers that were born in like 1950 something, they're nearing 70 years old, right? You see them and they go, well, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer this. Well, I know why. It's because one, they're affiliated with people that are inside. Hey, like I said, it all ties back to everything being an inside plant. Clavicular's funded by Peter Thiel. The Paul brothers were Disney babies. You go into it and you start to really actually put the yarn on the bulletin board of who's associated with who. It's what it is. You don't have that connection. So you've got to build yourself your own network, your own board, because you're not going to get it easy. But at the same time, it's figuring out really how to build it. They say your first million is the hardest to make, and I've sure as hell not made it yet. I want to. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I don't want to be stuck in a stupid factory, from 3 to 11. What life is that? Especially when you have your, like I said, your boomer boss constantly bearing down on your ass, talking about how you guys don't work hard enough, how you guys are lazy, why are you clocking out, at 11 when you're scheduled to leave. Don't do that. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. It's like all these kids that have it easy. I grew up knowing people that own the franchise, they own the brand. They didn't have a clue how to run the fucking business. And they're the rich ones now, but they're also thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, which they use on their taxes every year. That's another thing they don't teach you. The rich use debt to essentially leverage their next purchase by taking it off their taxes. It works. Nobody's willing to actually settle down and do the research on it though anymore. And that's what half the problem is. If you guys actually seen how stuff was being done, you would have a fucking cow, because some of these guys are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in farm equipment. Even they're going bankrupt. It's going to auction. They've got 2 other family members there on auction, and they're just buying it back for $1 and having it on their farm under a different LLC name. It's things like that. They know all the shortcuts and you don't. Instagram is the same way. All those idiots that post their course, buy this, buy that, post the rented Lambos, or hell, if daddy bought them their BMW M3, that shit, they're scamming you because they know they can. And they know they're going to keep getting away with it because there's too many people that won't wake up to the fact that it doesn't work. Your course doesn't work. If one of them wants to send me a course for free and legitimately, help me out, cool. But I know it's not going to work. I'd be willing to put money on it that it's not going to work. But it's just one of those things, man. There's people out there that are basically born into free money, and there's people out there that have to claw their way out of the 6-foot grave with, millions of years of rock on top of it to get where they're at. And that's where a lot of us are. The top 1%, actually, for I believe it's people 19 to like 25, I think I just recently saw. If you have $20,000, you're in the top 1%. So you're not an outlier. You're not doing anything wrong. It's hard to think that way, but you're not, you know? And this is something I could talk all day long about, but they literally are scamming you on Instagram by these courses. This is how it is. A rich do not want you in their circle until you get rich, and then they'll network with you. They see you as low lying scum. It's just how it is. It's how it works. They'll be friendly with you if you go up to somebody that owns a Lamborghini at a car show. You know, they'll talk about it, but you're never going to pitch them your business idea because they've already made it. You have to do that yourself. So, anyways, that's kind of my little rant about Instagram trust fund babies. There's no reason really why they should be any more popular than, you know, Joe Schmo, but when you have a pretty face and a nice smile, is what it is. You know, you tend to attract more masses. That, and when you have mansions and Lambos and Ferraris and girls with their tits hanging out, we live in just a degenerate society anymore, and we all have to cope with that fact. It's part of life, but oh well, you know, it's not getting any better. It's really not. I mean, try dating in 2026. That'll probably be my next video. I've had so many damn experiences, and I'll go more in depth with the millionaires that I've dated. They're absolutely ridiculous. I've only met one that I might actually say she had a saving grace to her, and that was the one that I talked about. That was from Thailand. The other ones they're gone. They're far gone, and it definitely shows like the mental state of a lot of people now is just not there. So, anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day, whatever the hell you got to do. Peace.